As our brief was to create the opening to a horror movie, I spent many hours watching the opening to horror films to see what key features are included in the opening of horror films. The films I was most drawn to were of the subgenre paranormal. To make certain that I'd fulfilled the generic conventions and the audience expectation, I zoomed in on the micro elements of the horror genre so I could understand what was needed to produce a good opening and then implicate this in my own opening. For research into the horror genre, I watched the opening to the film Scream. Throughout the opening, mise-en-scene is used successfully. When Casey is walking around the kitchen, the knives are always in shot. She then takes one knife out of the stand. The iconography of the knife is death, and this conveys to the audience that something to do with death will be occurring. Furthermore, the popcorn used in the opening of Scream is a visual narrative. As through the opening, you see the popcorn get bigger and bigger until it finally pops. This also builds tension as the audience is waiting for it to pop, so the viewers are getting anxious. Through the use of popcorn, we came up with the idea of using potatoes as a visual narrative. This also brings in the idea of using the knives. We ensured that the knife stand or a knife was in most shots filmed in the kitchen, as the iconography of the knife would insinuate that death and danger was on its way. We also showed Mrs. Hobbs chopping up the potatoes with a knife, which foreshadows what is going to happen. While she is looking for Sarah, we have a close-up of the potatoes boiling over and causing a mess, like what Sarah will do. Also, the fact that Casey is in a white jumper illustrates that she is innocent and pure. As we are using a little girl in our opening, we decided that we wanted her to look innocent and pure, so the audience will feel emotions for her, and won't want anything bad to happen to her. This is also inspired by the opening of The Woman in Black 2, as you get attached to the children who go to the house in the film, and you are attached to them as you don't want them to get hurt or killed. During the opening of Blade, the sound is very powerful. As soon as the film starts, you can barely hear the two characters talk between themselves. Once they leave the car, the sound dramatically becomes quieter, as they walk through the factory with some music and some non-diegetic sound coming from the factory. From watching and listening to the opening of Blade, we took inspiration from getting the attention of the audience as soon as the film starts. Our opening starts with the sharp, non-diegetic sound of an old static TV hissing. Then the word telepathy comes onto the screen after the New Line Cinema titles, and the T of telepathy is attached to a rope, and then it suddenly drops as if it hanged itself, and it's a very sharp and distressing non-diegetic sound. It then goes into music. We took the sharp T drop from the loud sounds of Blade. The opening of the film Insidious starts with a panning shot through the house's rooms, and you get to see these people's lives through the objects in their house. We took this idea and decided that we would show what the family looked like before one twin had died, and then show another image of the family after she had died. So the family picture went from 4 people in it to 3. We then wanted a newspaper article to explain to the audience what had happened to the young girl, and the fact that she had died. So we panned across the family photos and down to the newspaper article. Watching the opening scene of The Woman in Black, it didn't have any credits running through the scene. This was rare, as from all of the openings I had watched, most of them had credits running through the opening. This made the audience focus on what was happening during the scene. In addition, the start of The Woman in Black starts with a black screen and then fades to action. This gave me inspiration to only have credits running through the home videos at the start of my opening, as I didn't want to draw attention away from the storyline in my opening. Due to the amount of openings that start with a black screen, I decided to start my brief off with a black screen. Most of the openings I had watched had red credits to represent danger. We didn't use red credits as they didn't stand out on the screen, so we used black credits so you could see them more clearly. Also, watching the opening to The Woman in Black, we made a key decision for our group, as we didn't like the fact that you saw The Woman in Black during the opening. We believed if the audience wouldn't have seen her, it would have left the viewers on edge throughout. But as you had already seen her and what she looked like, you knew that whenever she came onto the screen, something bad was going to happen.